Alright, so today I want to show you what I've been working on basically for about, 7 hours today, and that is the Auto Cooker 8000. So what this does is it is a wasteless automatic furnace. So that means that for every 8 items that get put into the ingredient slot, it'll put 1 coal in, and if it has 7 items that go into the slot here, it will not put coal in, therefore it will not waste the little bit of coal. Now, if you're at the point of the game where you're able to build this, I don't think coal is that much of an issue to you. However, this was more just a fun little project. But first, I want to go over and start with this absolute monstrosity of spaghetti right here, because this is how I started building it, and this I called the Auto Cooker 1000. The main difference between this one and this one is, well, for one, this one is more compact. It fits into an 11 by 5 box, so therefore it's much more easily tileable, and it's color coded, so it's easier to tell what's what, and I'll explain all that in just a second. So I started with this. So we all know the basic furnace design. You put ingredients in top and then coal on the side, and then at the bottom comes your output. So I wanted a way to basically, at the push of a button, take X amount of items in, being 8, and then input 1 coal in for every 8. However, there's an issue. Normally, my first thought would be to, you can just use a comparator and read 8 items from this hopper. But you can't, because the comparators work in multiples of 13, I believe. So that was out of the question. So my next thought was, well, if you set up a redstone timer like this, then, and also a comparator coming out of the hopper, you can say, well, if the timer is on, and the timer is set to be when 8 items should have passed through the hopper. So if basically the idea behind this is you have a redstone timer that goes for that amount of time, and it winds up to this torch here. So then if this torch is off and this torch is also off, well, actually it would, I don't know, I can't really logic through it right now, but anyway, so if the timer gets all the way through without this torch lighting up, then it'll put a piece of coal in. So that was my basic idea. However, so we can see it work here, so it puts in 8, and then it puts in the coal, and then it goes. However, the main problem with this design is that every time I want to cook something, I have to push this button. Also, let's just to go ahead and ignore the spaghetti that this is, once again. This was just a prototype. But the main problem with this design is that you have to push the button every single time. And this one over here, it has that same feature. So you'll see that once this finishes, it's not going to start again. So this last one goes, and boom, nothing more gets put in. This is effectively waiting for me to start this timer again. However, the cool thing about this is, place that. So now 1 item is stored inside of the hopper. So this plus what's in the chest, so 6. So this system should not, actually I'm not quite sure. It works on this one, I know for certain, but this one I might have messed something up along the way, and it might work with 7 items in it. I'm not sure. Let's find out. So theoretically, it should not. There we go. Okay. So I put 7 items. It put 7 items in, but it did not put any coal in, because this timer, or this torch, detected that there were no items in this hopper before the timer ran out. Therefore, it kept this little redstone block on. Therefore, this hopper could not feed coal into the furnace. So that is the prototype of it. Oh, and then yeah, outputs come out there like how you would expect. So this is the prototype, and then this is the final version that I came up with. So you have push for one cycle, and then AFK mode. So essentially they're the same design, just shifted some stuff around and whatnot. This button can actually go away. And same with this lever over here. Those were my testing stuff. So, same type of thing. You have, I did put fuel in here, yes. And, fuel and ingredients. So you push for one cycle, and it'll put 8 items in and put 1 coal in. Same as that one. So while that's running, because it's not going to, same as with the last design, it's not going to put another 8 items in because it's waiting for my signal to do that. So I'll explain the colors here a little bit. So green is the initial trigger. So when I push the button, the circuit comes, and these 2 pieces of glass, anytime there's glass in the actual redstone area, that glass is required. Any of the other colored stuff can be any block. Dirt, stone, diamond blocks if you're that rich. But the glass blocks are required. The only 3 places are here, here, and right here. It looks like, yes. Okay. So that button goes down the green line, and then it triggers this clock right here, which has 3 of any block in it. Doesn't have to be iron, it could be dirt or rotten flesh, whatever you want. But it just needs to be 3, and then this hopper, that'll just naturally be empty when the machine is off. So, what the green button does is it just extends the time that this button is pushed just for long enough so that it does the same thing as this over here, just with a little bit simpler. So that 3 iron, or that 3 items in this hopper, extend the signal just long enough. They go up this yellow line here and then back onto the green, and then that triggers this hopper. So this will let this is timed correctly so that 3 items in this translates to 8 items through this hopper. And I'll give you just a quick second to look at the redstone delays on this, in case you want to build this for yourself. And there's a repeater in there that is set to no delay, and also for in here as well. Circle around a little bit so you can see everything. So then, to feed the coal in, it comes up through this torch, and then this is a fancy little 1-tick generator. It takes in a signal from here. Well, it's not quite 1 tick. It would be 1 tick if it was set to 0 right here, but it's max setting so that it extends it just a little bit longer. So then this torch will go through here, and you'll see it'll lock this repeater, and then when the torch turns off, this will be slightly delayed, so you'll get a much shorter tick out this side, which is useful because you only want the coal hopper to stay on long enough so that it feeds in 1 piece of coal and not 3. I think when I was testing it actually fed in 4, but either way. This setup right here will feed in 1 coal every single time that this redstone circuit lights up. And there's also a torch right under there, and it just runs onto the hopper here. The red line is the ingredient detection system. So in the case that this hopper becomes empty, this comparator will turn off and turn on this torch. And then you continue around, it goes up in through here, and then forces this hopper to stay inactive, because you don't want that going if you don't have enough ingredients. And again, you get the right amount of ingredients from this clock down here. So then this other red line comes from the ingredient detection system and then feeds back into the green line. And I'll show you. I'll show it on this one. It has the same thing, by the way. This is your ingredient detection system on this one. Don't build this. This is really messy. Anyway, so there's no items in this hopper. So this torch is on. So this hopper is able to accept items. So when I put 17 in, you'll see, boom, it drops down to 16. Because it loaded one in the hopper, and then this turned on, detected that there was an item in there, and before it could get put into the furnace, it locked the hopper. So that's just a little system, and I take it out, it puts one in. I take it out, puts one in. So that is just a little quality of life thing. So it'll automatically ready up one. It does not have that same feature on the coal chest because there's not really enough room. However, I'm not a redstone master, so you could probably, or someone better than me could probably condense this down a little more. But this, for what it does, and how little designs I've seen of it, this is pretty good. Mostly because it works and is compact enough. So yeah, red is your item detection, and then this gray down here, this is your AFK mode. So what the AFK mode will do is the same thing as the button, except there's a hopper clock down here that will push items back and forth, and then when it reaches a certain point in this cycle, it'll just basically send a signal along that links back up to the green line and will act as the button, an automatic button. So I think I showed just the push for one cycle, but AFK mode starts up this clock and then it does the same thing as the button. Loads 8 in, loads a coal, and then it just kind of goes. The only problem with AFK mode is it's not continuously running, because with the system, it loads 8 in, and then it puts the coal in. So with this, you'll actually see it starts loading when the arrow is right about here. It's not quite done, but that could be changed. I could add just a little bit more, or I could add a little bit more into the hopper, but I don't know how that would affect the... Yeah, see, there it goes. It loads in, and then it puts the coal in. So you have a little bit of downtime between when you put the... what am I trying to say? You have a little bit of downtime between furnace runs. And just like the button cycle, since it's on the same logic up here, if you only have 7 ingredients like I have set up for this last one, it won't actually run the coal. And I'll just let this run while I explain what's going on down here, and then we'll see that it'll load 7 in, but it will not load a coal in. Hopefully. I tested this beforehand, so it should still be fine. So these items down here, they just go back and forth. And I have a little sign that lets you know how many items you need to do. So you put 54 items into this left hopper if you're using a blast furnace or a smoker. And since those work twice as fast, you need twice the amount of items if you're going with just a normal furnace. I haven't tested it with a normal furnace actually, but the time is doubled. So it might actually be slightly less than 108, but it'll be around there. So maybe like between 105 to 110, I'd say. So just kind of play around until you get it to be about the delay that you want. How many more cycles do we have left? This is the last one. So it's going to finish this 7. Oh, and then down here, this is just to lengthen the delay clock. So it comes around, and then that's not quite finished yet. All right. So you'll see how this works when the clock finishes one cycle. So should be soon. Is it? Oh, there it goes. So right there. So that's about the length of this button push. And then there you go. 7 goes in, and since it was not 8, since this, where'd it go? This up here locked the hopper down before this clock could finish. So then this hopper could not put coal into the furnace. So therefore you're out of luck. But the clock still goes on. There's no way to really shut it down unless you actually, or there's no way to automatically shut it down when it detects there's no items, because you could put items back up in this chest here, but I recommend that you shut it off first and then wait. Well, in this case it stopped pretty quick, but you gotta wait, or you should wait a little bit of time just so that the clock can completely reset before you put more ingredients in. And yeah, again, in that case, it has the same auto-loading feature. So you take one out, puts one in. Take one out, puts one in. But it does not continue feeding into the furnace. I like that feature. That's nice. But again, I don't know if there's enough space to do the same thing with the chest here, or the coal chest. And I'm sure there's some ways that you could make this slightly more compact, but for what it does and how many other completely automatic furnaces that I've seen, because again, they're not easy, because the fact that you can't read exactly 8 items in a hopper. If you could just do a simple thing like, you have this one stopped, or you might actually need a set of 3. So you let this one go in, and then once this one reaches 8, you just shut that one off and open that one, and then it goes into your furnace, and then the cycle just repeats. But you can't do that because the hoppers only detect in things of multiples of 13 for some reason. So that's just dumb. But again, I kind of understand why, because you only have a limited number of slots for a maximum output value. Well, I don't actually know how it works. Is it storage dependent? I don't know. I know that this works, and that's all that matters. And yeah, just like normal, or how you would expect, your iron ingots, or whatever it is, come out into here. And this can be replaced with a smoker. So, smoker, it can be replaced with a furnace as well, but furnaces I'm not going to do in this video because 1, I haven't tested it, and 2, we're going to take the iron out because iron is not compatible with the smoker. And instead, we are going to put in, let's do pork chops. So you get 1 pork chop preloaded in, 1 cycle. It'll load in 8 pork, and then load in your coal, and you're good to go. And that is another thing. When I broke that blast furnace, I got experience from that, because when you cook things, you get some experience. However, if you have a auto cooker, it'll just take the items and put them into the chest, but the experience is still stored in the furnace, or in the block, until the next time that you pull an item out or you break it. So that is something that might be an issue to you. Again, if you're at the point where you're able to make this, you probably could have, and there it stopped, because it's 1 cycle. But if you're at the point where you can build this, then you probably have some sort of XP farm, so that little amount that you get out of furnaces probably doesn't matter. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say for this. So I'll go around one last time so you can get your screenshots or something, so you can build this yourself if you choose to do so. Again, glass blocks are required because for this specific example, I don't want this redstone current, which is controlling the hopper right here. I don't want this current going up into here. So you put a glass block, so current can travel up the block, but not through it. And then for over here, it's just kind of useful for going up things quickly and easily without really having to think too much. So in this case, it's coming up, and then it needs to get through this glass block, so it jumps up to here. This one, I don't think this one is required to be glass, actually. It should still work without it, just looking at it. So just 2 pieces of glass. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. Just looking at it, that could be any solid block. But either way, alright, I was going around so you could see everything. You get these down here. So this system works with all 3 types of furnaces, and if you change to a normal furnace, you just need to remember that you need to roughly double the amount of items that are in this hopper right here. You got these things down right here. I already showed that. Come up right into this area. Get you a good look over here. I'm not going to try to build this and replicate it like I've seen some people do. That is for things that are much simpler than this. I would not be able to replicate this just by memory. I would need to look back and okay, so that goes there and there and there. I can't do that. So yeah, that is the Autocooker 8000, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I will plug the usual things that YouTubers are doing. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want completely infrequent videos like this. Bye-bye.